For this morning, tipping. It's expected at places like restaurants and nail salons, but what about on a flight? If you thought that airplanes were a tip-free zone, you may want to think about grabbing some $1 bills before you board your next flight. CBS 2's Natalie Hurst takes a closer look at that and also has some other tips on tipping.
From the teenager who made your sandwich at the deli to your local coffee shop barista, more and more service providers might expect something a little extra. But does that mean you must pay up?
Tipping can be imposing.
Coming into the coffee shop just to get your daily coffee, sometimes you feel obliged to tip.
The service is good, they deserve their tips.
In a recent Consumer Reports survey of more than 1,000 American adults, 27% said there are more situations today where they're expected to tip than there were just 2 years ago.
Consumers are becoming increasingly resentful about the idea that they have to tip people just for doing their jobs. Like, really? I have to tip a smoothie maker? Or what about the barista at the coffee shop who swivels a little point-of-sale iPad in your direction with a pre-calculated tip?
As for how much to tip, Consumer Reports has some guidelines.
A simple rule of thumb is to tip 15 to 20% of the pre-tax restaurant tab. Don't tip less than 15%. If the server was rude or offensive, speak to the manager, but don't stiff the server.
Another finding from Consumer Reports survey on tipping, 46% of Americans say they favor a system that would do away with tipping altogether and instead charge higher prices, a remedy promoted by restaurateur Danny Meyer, the founder of Shake Shack. But how do consumers feel about paying higher prices in exchange of not having to tip?
I think that if tips were included on the check like they do in many other countries, it would be easier.
I would not be willing to pay higher prices if tipping was included in the service.
I do like when the tip is included. It's kind of like a no-hassle deal.
Natalie Hurst, CBS 2 News.